Alright, so now we're going to be checking out Theoreticus Heresy episode 13. In the last one, my boy Magnus, he bit the big one, and in a bad way. Wasn't really a big fan of that decision. But at the same time, if you're actually going to make it to where this can happen, Magnus has to die. Because otherwise, the Emperor just recalls Magnus to Terra, Magnus sits down on the Golden Throne, and Big E turns Rogel Dorn into an afterthought, like a 2,758th trimester abortion, pretty much. In any case, moving on. Episode 13. I really don't like that Magnus is dead. I don't like that the Magnus is the fairest Magnus of this. But, come to think of it, it has to happen, or else the Emperor just walks over the traitors.
The Lunar Wolves fleet made haste for Chagoris, the homeworld of the White Scars Legion. Horus sent transmission after transmission, begging his shadowy brother to not resist and to avoid pointless bloodshed. Jagatai Khan protested that by coming all this way to arrest him, they were wasting valuable time. Rogel Dawn and the others had betrayed them, and would soon move against Terra itself. Horus pleaded with Jagatai Khan once more to stand down and be arrested for his treachery in defying their father's edict. Jagatai Khan grew angry at the accusations and having his warnings go unheeded, screaming that he was no traitor. But if Horus was looking for a battle, then Jagatai Khan and the White Scars would give him one. With great regret, Horus ordered the fleet to commence planetary assault and to capture the White Scars Primarch by force. Perturabo was surprised by his legion's sudden recall to Terra. As he made his way to the Imperial Palace, he was greeted by the regents of Terra, Malcador the Sigillite, and Constantine Valdor, the Captain General of the Legio Custodes. Malcador briefed Perturabo on the situation at hand. The Emperor foresaw a great apocalyptic battle that would in time reach the cradle of humanity, Holy Terra itself. Perturabo and his legion were tasked to reinforce the defense of Terra, and in turn, the Imperial Palace. Perturabo would erect numerous weapons platforms upon both the planet's surface and within its orbit, and would begin adding numerous layers and layers of adamantium and rockcrete armor plating to the walls of the palace, despoiling in the beautiful architecture of its gold and ivory walls to a mishmash of practical, darkened metal adorned with spines and gun batteries. Malcador was saddened to see the beauty of the palace become tarnished so, but was practical enough a man to understand its necessity. The Iron Warriors would also begin to carve miles upon miles of trenches in all directions around the palace, setting up vast killing fields that hopefully, to Malcador, would never need to be used. A short time after, the Death Guard flagship, the Endurance, arrived in orbit of Holy Terra. As the ship was sent a transmission directly from the Imperial Palace, from none other than Malcador himself, Alpharis Omegon and Eunid Theo relayed the truth that they had discovered. Alpharis was ordered to gather his legion and head to the Istvan system, in order to suppress this insurrection at the hands of Rogel Dawn. To this end, he would receive aid from the full force of the Emperor's children, the Night Lords, the Salamanders, the Dark Angels, and the Raven Guard, who in turn would be ordered to abandon what missions they had to counter this more immediate threat to the Imperium. Rogel Dawn's rebellion will be crushed, and he and his followers will be destroyed, and all trace of their existence wiped from history, like those in times long ago. attempted their own petty power plays for their own self-interests.
I gotta say, recalling the Perturabo de Terra and the digging of trenches. Really, bro? Really? Alright, moving on to episode 14. Alright, guys, here we go. I can't wait to hear what he's going to go with this, honestly.
Upon the bridge of the Emperor's Children flagship, the pride of the Emperor, Fulgrim collapsed into his throne in sheer disbelief. He had learned that not only had some of his brothers turned against the Emperor, but one of those traitors was his closest friend of all, Theoreticus of the Iron Hands. He retreated to his quarters and, away from the watching eyes of his men and crew, broke down and openly wept, tears streaming down his face. He reached for a framed picture, made from paper taken from some of the last trees on Terra itself, and delicately ran his fingers over the image. The image was of Fulgrim and Ferris embracing in a brotherly hug, laughing about some events long forgotten, immortalized by one of the Legion's remembrances. Now, Fulgrim was faced with the prospect of having to kill his most beloved brother and friend. Conrad Kurz, the Night Haunter, would be pardoned for his actions given his role in suppressing this insurrection, and thus was moved from the brig of Fulgrim's ship. Kurz entered Fulgrim's chambers and placed his hand upon his brother's shoulder, a small attempt to comfort him. He informed Fulgrim that he would return to his ship, the Nightfall. Fulgrim bade him to stay a while, and asked if Kurz's power of foresight could see the resolution of this rebellion. Kurz turned to leave without saying a word, but Fulgrim grabbed the Lord of Night and pinned him to the wall with surprising force. Fulgrim demanded that his brother tell him what would happen in this war. Comrade Kurz grinned his vampiric grin and told Fulgrim that loyalist and traitor alike will die screaming in unimaginable suffering. The armored fists will break the walls of gold, and that the Imperium will be shattered into a form unrecognizable by their father. Truth will be lost and replaced with lies. Fulgrim asked what fate will become of him in Conrad's visions. Conrad Kurz looked him straight in the eye and said one word: death. And with that, the Lord of Night left. Fulgrim once more picked up the picture before clenching his fist so tight that his grip cracked the glass and threw the frame at the wall, causing it to splinter and tear. His mood shifted. Gone was his heartache and sorrow, and in its place grew a burning fire. A fire of rage and hatred. Dawn, Gilliman, Russ, and Sanguinius will all pay for their treachery. But as for Ferris Manus, Fulgrim swore he would bring his brother to justice, and that he would be the judge, jury, and executioner.
Okay.
Meanwhile, aboard the Divinitas Lex, Lorgar, unaware of the great heresy Dawn and his followers were perpetrating, received a transmission. An Ultramarine had come with a message from his Primarch, Rabute Gilliman, to be personally delivered to the Lord of the Word-Bearers. As the Ultramarine met with Lorgar in his chambers, he handed Lorgar a small black glassy shard in the shape of an 8-pointed star.
Alright, so it seems like Gilliman's going to be attempting to influence Lorgar. like I said, some of the personality traits of the Primarchs had to be suppressed in order to make this work, including Kurze's own self-loathing. That was a huge thing for Kurze. So these are characters' names that we know, but they almost have to be different characters to make this work. And I understand why he's doing it. It's a good bit of theory crafting, but so far, Kurze would not be the one to offer comfort to anybody. So, I mean, that just is the way it is. In any case, we're going to keep on with this a little bit more by day. And we're almost halfway through. It's episode 15. I think there's 44 episodes overall. So we're getting close. Episode 15 is going to be on the next one. I finished at 14. I'm an idiot. Don't worry about me. I'll catch you guys next time.